The 1993 Toyota Supra MK4 was banned from NHRA drag racing for being too fast. Toyota engineers secretly detuned the engine for magazine tests, and the car's wing was designed using fighter jet technology. But why did Toyota destroy hundreds of unsold Supras? How did one owner accidentally discover a hidden factory turbo boost? And which celebrities crashed a Supra sold for more than a new one? These are 20 weird facts about the 1993 Toyota Supra MK4 that will blow your mind. Number 20, the secret power agreement. Here's something Toyota never wanted you to know. In 1993, Japanese automakers had a gentleman's agreement to limit all cars to 276 horsepower. The Supra? It made way more than that. Toyota just lied on the spec sheet. When American magazines dyno tested the car, they found 320 horsepower at the wheels, which meant the engine was actually making close to 380 at the crank. Toyota's response, they claimed it must be a measurement error. But here's where it gets interesting. Internal Toyota documents leaked years later showed engineers were instructed to detune cars sent to magazines by adjusting the ECU. They literally had two different programs, one for customers and one for the press. The customer cars were monsters, while the press cars barely made the advertised power. One journalist who kept his test car for extended evaluation noticed it got faster after the first service. Turns out, the dealer accidentally flashed the customer ECU during routine maintenance. Suddenly a 0 to 60 times dropped by half a second. Number 19, the banned drag racer. The NHRA had a problem in 1994. Stock Supra Turbos were showing up at drag strips and running times that put them in competition with purpose-built race cars. We're talking about bone stock cars with street tires running 11-second quarter miles. The NHRA's solution, they banned the Supra from stock class racing. Not modified ones, stock ones straight from the dealer. The official reason was safety concerns, but everyone knew the real issue. The Supra was embarrassing American muscle cars that cost twice as much. One Texas dealer started advertising this ban as a selling point. His newspaper ads read, "Too fast for drag racing, still legal for the street." Sales went through the roof. The ban stood for 3 years until Toyota agreed to install a speed limiter that activated during competition. But owners quickly figured out how to disable it with a paperclip. Number 18, the fighter jet wing. That massive rear wing wasn't just for show. Toyota hired aerospace engineers from Mitsubishi's fighter jet division to design it. They used the same computational fluid dynamics software that designed the F-2 fighter's control surfaces. The result? At 150 miles per hour, the wing generated 66 pounds of downforce. But here's the weird part. The wing had a secret second function. The hollow aluminum structure contained a resonance chamber that canceled out wind noise at highway speeds. It literally made the car quieter by being there. Engineers discovered this by accident during the wind tunnel testing. They were about to redesign it when someone noticed the noise readings. The wing was acting like a giant noise-canceling device. Competitors tried to copy the design but could never figure out why their versions made cars louder, not quieter. Toyota kept the resonance chamber secret until 2019. Number 17. The crushed Supras scandal. In 1998, Toyota made a decision that still makes enthusiasts angry. They crushed 237 unsold Supra Turbos rather than discount them. These were brand new cars sitting on dealer lots as the sports car market collapsed. Toyota executives feared that discounting would damage the brand's premium image, so they bought them back from dealers and sent them straight to the crusher. But one dealer in California refused to participate. He hid 12 Supras in a warehouse and reported them as sold. 20 years later, those 12 cars emerged from storage with delivery miles on the odometer. They sold for 3 times their original sticker price. The dealer, now retired, admitted he knew they'd be valuable someday. He was right, those 12 cars are now worth more than most houses. Number 16, the Yakuza connection. The Supra had an unexpected customer base in Japan, the Yakuza. Japanese organized crime families loved the car for one specific reason. The trunk had a hidden compartment behind the spare tire that was perfectly sized for briefcases. Toyota claimed it was for tools, but the dimensions were suspicious. It fit exactly 2 standard aluminum briefcases side by side. Police reports from the era show Supras were involved in more money transport crimes than any other sports car, but the Yakuza's love affair with the Supra went deeper. They funded illegal street races where Supras dominated. One infamous race in 1995 saw 40 Supras racing through Tokyo's highway system. The winner received a brand new Supra as a prize. The police arrived to find only tire marks. Every single car had vanished into the night. Number 15, the Getrag gearbox mystery. The Supra's 6-speed Getrag transmission could handle 200 horsepower. In 1993, that seemed like overkill for a 320 horsepower car. But here's what nobody knew. The transmission wasn't designed for the Supra. It was originally developed for a canceled Toyota supercar project codenamed 591A. This mysterious car was supposed to have a V12 engine making 600 horsepower. When the project died, Toyota had already ordered thousands of transmissions. Rather than waste them, they stuffed them into the Supra. Tuners discovered this accidentally when they started building 1,000 horsepower Supras. The transmission never broke. It was literally designed for twice the power. Getrag engineers later admitted they were confused when Toyota ordered such an overbuilt transmission for the Supra. The contract specified it needed to handle 200 Newton meters of torque. The Supra made 431, number 14, the movie car curse. Every Supra used in the original Fast and Furious movie met a terrible fate, not just damaged, destroyed, the hero car. Driven by Paul Walker was totaled 2 weeks after filming when a stunt driver crashed it during a commercial shoot. The backup cars met various ends. One caught fire during a magazine photo shoot, another was stolen and found stripped in Mexico, and one was accidentally crushed at a salvage yard that didn't know it was a movie car. The curse got so bad that Universal Studios started buying cheaper, non-turbo models and making them look like turbos. But even those met strange fates. One disappeared from a locked transport truck. It was never found. The only surviving screen-used Supra is owned by a private collector who refuses to drive it. He claims it's not about value. He's genuinely afraid of the curse. Number 13, the hidden turbo boost. Some 1994 Supras came with an undocumented feature. If you held the traction control button while starting the engine, then pumped the brake pedal 3 times, the ECU would enter a hidden mode. In this mode, boost pressure increased from 11 to 15 psi. Toyota never acknowledged this feature existed. It was discovered by accident when a forum member's kid was playing with the buttons. Suddenly, his car felt significantly faster. Dyno testing confirmed it. The hidden mode added 40 horsepower. But here's the catch. It only worked on cars built between March and July 1994. Toyota apparently removed it after someone at corporate found out. Engineers involved in the project later admitted it was an inside joke that went too far. They never expected customers to find it. The button combination was the birthday of the lead engineer's daughter. Number 12. The Celebrity Crash Premium. When actor Dwayne Johnson crashed his Supra in 1996, something strange happened. The wrecked car sold at auction for more than a new one. The damage was extensive. The front end was completely destroyed. But bidders didn't care. They wanted The Rock's car. This started a bizarre trend. Celebrity crash Supras became more valuable than pristine examples. A Supra rear-ended by Nicolas Cage sold for double market value. One sideswiped by a famous rapper fetched triple. Insurance companies couldn't understand it. They'd total these cars expecting minimal salvage value, then watch them sell for huge money. The trend peaked when someone paid $180,000 for a Supra that had been in a minor fender bender with a reality TV star. The new owner didn't even fix it. He displayed it in his living room with a plaque describing the crash. Number 11. The German ban threat. In 1995, Germany threatened to ban the Supra from the autobahn. The reason? It was too stable at high speed. That sounds like a compliment, but German authorities were concerned. The car could cruise at 180 miles per hour so effortlessly that drivers didn't realize how fast they were going. Multiple accidents occurred when Supra drivers slowed down for exits while still doing 120. The car felt like it was doing 70. Toyota's solution was brilliant. They added a subtle vibration to the steering wheel that increased with speed. It was completely artificial, generated by a motor in the steering column. But it worked. Drivers now had tactile feedback about their velocity. Germany withdrew the ban threat, but Toyota kept the feature. They marketed it as a safety system, never admitting it was just a vibrating motor fooling your hands. Number 10. The illegal racing database. Toyota secretly maintained a database of Supra owners who participated in illegal street racing. They didn't do this to report them. Quite the opposite. These owners received special treatment at dealers, they got priority access to parts, special pricing on services, and advance notice of performance upgrades. The database was discovered when a Toyota employee leaked it to a car magazine in 2001. It contained over 3,000 names worldwide. Toyota's official response was denial, but dealers confirmed they had special codes for these customers. The reasoning was simple. Street racers were Toyota's best inadvertent marketers. Every time a Supra dominated on the street, it sold more cars. One dealer admitted they had a dedicated service bay just for street racers. They'd work on cars at night, no questions asked. The only rule? Don't bring a car with police tape still on it. And before our final fact, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos and leave a comment if you knew any of these facts. Number 9. The Targa Top Time Bomb. The Targa Top Supras had a hidden flaw that Toyota knew about but never fixed. The roof seals would shrink exactly 3 years after manufacture, not approximately 3 years exactly. It was like a timer. Toyota engineers discovered this during testing but calculated it would happen just outside the warranty period. Instead of fixing it, they quietly stockpiled replacement seals. When owners complained, dealers would replace them for free without admitting fault. But here's the weird part. The replacement seals lasted forever. Whatever caused the 3-year failure only affected the original parts. One theory suggests the factory seals were contaminated with a chemical that broke down after precise UV exposure. Toyota never confirmed this, they just kept replacing seals until the issue faded from memory. Some owners reported their cars leaked on the exact same day 3 years after purchase. Number 8. The sound frequency patent. Toyota patented the Supra's exhaust note. Not the exhaust system, the actual sound it made. They used acoustic engineers to tune the exhaust to produce specific frequencies that triggered an emotional response in humans. The primary frequency was 98 Hz, with harmonics at 196 and 294. These frequencies supposedly activated the same brain regions as a baby's cry, making the sound impossible to ignore. Competitors tried to copy the sound but couldn't without violating the patent. Ferrari's lawyers studied it and concluded it was legally bulletproof. Toyota had essentially copyrighted a noise. The patent expired in 2013, but by then, no manufacturer wanted to make their car sound like a 20-year-old Toyota, except Mazda. They licensed it for the RX-8, which is why that rotary sounds strangely similar to a Supra at certain RPMs. Number 7. The Stolen Supras Network. Between 1993 and 1998, a sophisticated theft ring stole over 400 Supra Turbos, but they didn't sell them. They stored them. The FBI discovered warehouses full of pristine Supras wrapped in plastic. The thieves were playing a long game. They knew values would skyrocket and waited. The mastermind was a former Toyota engineer who understood the car's future collectability. He targeted specific VINs that corresponded to significant build dates. First and last cars of each month, special number sequences, pre-production models. When police finally busted the ring in 2019, the stolen cars were worth 50 times what they'd been worth when stolen. The legal battle over ownership continues today. Insurance companies that paid out claims in the 1990s want the cars back. But many of those companies no longer exist. Some cars remain in legal limbo, too valuable to crush but impossible to legally sell. Number 6. The Tokyo speed limit. The Supra was electronically limited to 112 miles per hour in Japan. But this limiter had a bizarre quirk, it only worked in Japan. The car somehow knew its geographic location and would remove the limit when overseas. Toyota claimed this was impossible, but owners proved it. Ships carrying Supras for export reported cars arriving with no speed limiter, despite being limited when loaded in Japan. The mystery was solved in 2005 when someone discovered a hidden GPS receiver in the ECU. This was before civilian GPS was common. Toyota had installed military-grade positioning hardware that detected location and adjusted the speed limiter accordingly. They'd been tracking every Supra's location worldwide since 1993. The data was transmitted through dealer diagnostic machines. Toyota had logs showing where every car had been driven for over a decade. Number 5. The engine block lottery. Not all 2JZ engines were created equal. Due to variations in the casting process, Some blocks were significantly stronger than others. Tuners discovered this when identical builds produced wildly different results. Some engines would handle with 500 horsepower, while others cracked at 800. The difference came down to nickel content in the iron. Toyota's supplier had inconsistent mixtures, creating what tuners called the engine lottery, but there was a way to tell. Strong blocks had a slightly different color when viewed under UV light. They glowed purple instead of blue. This discovery created a bizarre secondary market. People would buy Supras just to check the engine under UV light. If it glowed purple, they'd pull the engine and sell the car. Purple glow engines commanded 5 times the price of regular ones. Toyota never acknowledged the variation existed. Number 4. The insurance fraud epidemic. By 1997, insurance fraud involving Supras had reached epidemic levels. The scheme was simple. Buy a Supra, insure it for full value, then report it stolen. The car would reappear months later in Japan with a new identity. Insurance companies were losing millions but couldn't prove organized fraud. Until one company hired a private investigator who discovered something shocking. The fraud ring included Toyota dealers. They were facilitating the thefts, providing duplicate keys and alarm codes. The cars were being shipped back to Japan, where demand exceeded supply. One dealer's entire allocation of Supras for 1997 had been stolen by their customers with inside help. The FBI estimated that 1 in 10 Supra Turbos sold in America between 1995 and 1998 was involved in insurance fraud. The scheme only ended when insurance companies started refusing to cover Supras entirely. Number 3, the millennium bug feature. Toyota engineers were so paranoid about Y2K that they built a mechanical override into the 1999 Supra. If the ECU failed due to date errors, you could start the car with a hidden mechanical system. The override involved removing a panel under the steering wheel and connecting 2 specific wires while turning the key. The car would run without any computer assistance. It was essentially a 1960s style ignition system hidden inside a modern car. But here's the twist. Y2K came and went without issues. The override was never needed, except by thieves. They discovered that the mechanical system bypassed the factory immobilizer. Suddenly, 1999 Supras became the easiest to steal. Toyota quietly removed the feature in a recall, claiming it was for emissions updates. Owners who refused the recall found their insurance canceled. The few 1999 models that still have the override are considered uninsurable. Number 2, the Paul Walker time capsule. After Paul Walker's death, investigators found something extraordinary in his personal garage. A brand new 1995 Supra Turbo with 0 miles on the odometer. Not low miles, 0. The car had never been started. Walker had bought it new and immediately stored it, but that wasn't the strange part. The car was filled with predictions about the future. Walker had left notes throughout the car predicting Supra values, pop culture trends, even political events. Many were eerily accurate. He predicted the exact year Supras would hit $100,000 in value. He knew which modifications would become popular. One note simply said Bitcoin 2017 with a smiley face. The family kept the car exactly as found, notes and all. They've turned down offers exceeding $2 million. The car has become something of a legend, with people offering money just to read the notes. Some claim Walker had inside knowledge about Toyota's plans. Others think he was just incredibly lucky with his guesses. The family remains silent about what else the notes contain. Number 1. The executive's confession. In 2018, a retired Toyota executive made a shocking confession. The Supra was never supposed to end production in 1998. The assembly line was profitable, demand existed, and the factory had capacity. But Toyota killed it anyway. Why? Because the Supra was too good. It was cannibalizing sales of Lexus sports cars that cost twice as much. Customers were choosing the Supra over the SC400 and upcoming models. Toyota couldn't have their mainstream brand outperforming their luxury division. The executive revealed internal documents showing the Supra program was terminated despite being Toyota's most profitable car per unit. They made more money on each Supra than on 3 Camrys. But corporate politics won. The decision came from the very top. The CEO personally signed the termination order. The executive kept one document as proof: a memo stating the Supra must die to protect Lexus. He'd held onto it for 20 years, waiting until retirement to reveal the truth. Toyota never responded to his claims. They didn't deny them either. The Supra died not because it failed, but because it succeeded too much. It was murdered by its own excellence, the ultimate victim of corporate jealousy. 20 years later, when Toyota finally revived the Supra, they made sure it wouldn't threaten Lexus again. They let BMW build it,